Hi everyone. So it's been a while since I've made a video. Actually, I see on my channel that it's been a year, and I've been trying to honestly just get my life back together and start doing the things that I love again. And so things kind of got crazy the last year. Having another baby and health things, spiritual things. It's been a rough time, to say the least. So I wanted to say I'm back, and what better way than to do a book review that has literally changed my life, and I wanted to share it with you guys and give a review on just how amazing it is. So, this book right here. This book, Part of My World by Jodi Benson, changed my life. I know she didn't want to write a book, and she was very reluctant to do it, but I am so thankful that she said yes to God's call on this, because I don't know what I would be doing or I don't even know how my life would be without this book. Right now my kids are sleeping, so I'm gonna kind of try and be quiet. This is like the only time I can do a sit-down video talking without screaming kids around. So this book, I've looked up to her for so long. Ariel was my favorite Disney princess growing up. At that point, I had no idea who Jodi was. I didn't know who voiced Ariel, but I just loved Ariel. And she was my favorite. And then growing up, learning about who it was that voiced Ariel and learning about her, I've just been following her for a long time. She's always had this joy about her that is so infectious, and you're just drawn to it. She's just so happy, and so, but it's not even just happy, it's just joy. And she just, I don't know, it just seems like she radiates this joy and happiness that is just, how, you know what I mean? And she has like talked about her faith and everything in videos that I've seen as a Christian, and I thought that was really cool. So when this book finally came out, I had to read it. 2 years ago, we met her through Skype, Zoom type of thing. It was like a Comic-Con. I got to talk to her for like a few minutes. And she probably doesn't remember it, but she got to sing to my daughter happy birthday, which was really cool. It was her first birthday that day. And so that was awesome. I'll add a clip of that here because I just thought it was so cool.
Hey there, how are you?
Good.
Look at that beautiful family. What a gorgeous family. Hey, we're going to take a photo together, okay?
Okay.
So lift up cutie pie little baby who's on her first birthday, and let's smile. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Awesome. Is it her birthday?
Yes, she is 1 year old today.
Happy birthday. What's her name?
Cute, Sienna.
Sienna. And who's the other precious little angel?
This is Livia.
Livia. Oh, how wonderful. Now, where do you all live?
Illinois.
Okay, so it's pretty late there.
It is, yeah.
Oh, no, not too bad. About 7:30.
Yeah.
Where do you live in Illinois?
About 2 hours from Chicago.
Yeah, what town? What town? I'm from Rockford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I know Illinois very well.
Peru area.
Yep, I know exactly where you are. Well, look at this beautiful family you have. Is there anything that you wanted to chat or ask about?
Yeah, so I did want to ask, next year we're going to Disney World, hopefully, with the virus.
Good.
Yeah. And I was wondering, I know you go to Disney all the time, and with toddlers, do you have any tips or tricks for going to Disney World?
Okay, bring a stroller for everybody.
Okay.
I strollered my kids even when they were 7 and 9.
Oh, wow.
So the key is don't let them get tired. And when they get tired, stroller them and feed them constantly. Feed, drink, and tons of rest time. Because we never went back to the hotel, to take the naps. They would nap in the stroller in the shade while we were at the park. And then my husband and I would trade off doing a ride while the kids were napping. But the thing is, these kids cannot walk the park. They just can't. It's too much. It's too big. So that's my biggest advice. Stroller.
Yeah. Do you think we could sing happy birthday?
Yes, we can. We'll add some time. Corey will add some time. And tell me her name again.
Sienna.
Sienna?
Yes.
Sienna with an S. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sienna, who is 1 year old. Happy birthday to you. Oh, much love to all of you. Mwah.
So nice.
Happy birthday. Nice to meet you. Bye. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Finally got to meet, even though it was through video, but finally got to meet my Disney hero that played Ariel. And so when she wrote this, and I knew about it, she wrote a book, it was coming out, I was so excited. So anyway, the review. I laughed out loud multiple times. I also read the audio, or not read, I listened to the audio on Audible for like half the book. So I still have to listen to the audio for the first half of the book because I learned about that and I was like, ooh, I'm buying that and just gonna listen to her read it to me, which was really cool. But the first part of the book, I was like laughing out loud at different parts. It was really good. She was bringing in some really good takeaways every chapter. It was like a lot of wisdom. And then it wasn't until chapter 15, I believe it was chapter 15. Let me see what it's called. Well, first of all, I started reading her chapter about ask them my questions and get some answers, chapter 7. And that really spoke to me because honestly, I've been having a spiritual crisis for the last 4 years or so. And being drawn in to, she talks about the Catholic faith and just trying to figure out Christianity and what's true and what's not. There seemed to be so many options. I was super confused about religion and Christianity in general, and I had been looking into Catholicism for a long time. Intellectually, it sounds legit, like that's the real one, so I'm like going toward that, but it doesn't feel right because there's all these rules and all these things you have to do, and worried about my salvation all the time. It's been so stressful. And so when I read that part, she grew up Catholic and she had questions, and just seeing her journey through that was really helpful for me. And then I can relate to her. Honestly, I can relate to a lot of her life. It's actually kind of similar to mine, minus the Broadway and singing and all of that. I do sing, but not Broadway and not in the entertainment industry. But yeah, so but her life has been very similar to mine in regards to her struggles and her real life. She had 2 miscarriages. I had 2 miscarriages. One was super early, just like hers, and the second one was I needed help, just like she did. And it was super emotional for me. Once chapter 15 hit, it was kind of just every single chapter I cried my eyes out at least one time a chapter. A couple chapters I cried like twice at least. I don't even know. There was a lot of crying after chapter 15. And so just prepare yourself. I don't know. I think I just could relate to a lot of it in my life, and that's what caused that. She went into her loss of a friend and her loss of a niece, and I could relate to that with losing my grandparents, and it made me question my faith versus her. She stayed strong, and hearing her wisdom about that really helped me. And then at one point her life was so hard, and there was so much going on that she was on a cliff. And actually, I'll just read you that part. And that's the first part that made me cry, because I can relate to it very much. As I was driving back to Glenn and Linda's after a night out, I pulled into a parking lot by a canyon overlook, where I completely broke down, sobbing and screaming. All I could think was, if I press down on the gas pedal, it will all be over so quickly. I just wanted it to end, all of it. But as I sat there, hunched over and crying, with my forehead pressed against the steering wheel, I felt God saying, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere, and we're going to get through this together. You're not a failure. I'm not done with you yet. And I related to that very much, because I had a moment like that. It was before I had kids. It was before I had kids, so I never had that intense of a feeling after kids, because I have something to live for them. But I did have a moment like that in my life prior to kids. And then recently, my life has just been kind of tumbling out of control, financially, spiritually, just everything. And I just cried, because feeling so lost at this moment. I don't want it to be over, but I just feel I have felt so lost. So that really hit me hard. And after that, I just loved the wisdom that she had in regards to, like, God's got you. He's gonna get you through this. It's gonna be okay. And yeah. And so I'm sitting here in Illinois. She's from Illinois. Honestly, she might have even been to this state park before. I'm not 100% sure, but I know when I talked to her, she knew exactly where I lived. But I'm sitting here at Starved Rock State Park. And she lived her childhood in Rockford, which is about an hour north of here. And then she went to school about 2 hours south of here. So she would go by my area in her younger years. And I'm sure she visits Rockford and up north a lot with her family. So just being connected in location, being connected in her different life struggles, including especially miscarriage. She goes through homeschooling and the backlash that you can get from homeschooling, which I am homeschooling my kids. I have started homeschooling my daughter Olivia in preschool. Last year I kind of did it at 3 years old, but now she's actually pre-K level. So this is the first like real school year. And I get a lot of backlash about that. It's kind of simmered down a bit, but just getting encouragement from this book, and get encouragement from faith. Basically, by the end of this book, I fell to my knees and I recommitted my life to God. And I have been lacking in relationship, and I have been thinking all intellectually, trying to figure things out for myself, trying to figure out what makes sense intellectually and logically, and what seems to be right. But then it's so difficult because there's so many rules and so much, I don't know. It's been such a struggle for me spiritually. And so to get back to just loving God and loving Jesus and knowing that He has me and that He takes care of me and that He's not going to leave me through all of my issues, through all of my family issues, through all my financial issues, my spiritual struggles. He's not going to leave me, and He's going to be there for me. So I love this ending part of the book where she goes, "Some of my most difficult seasons have come when I wasn't listening for God's leading, or when I tried to go it alone. But even then, God was always there, telling me, 'Don't worry, I've got you, I'm here, and I'm not going to leave you. This dark season isn't going to last forever. Just stay with me. I will get you through this.' And He has, time and time again." The best way I can think to describe His guidance in my life is that it's like counted cross-stitch. I never had the patience for cross-stitch growing up, but my mom and sister used to do it all the time. I was always so fascinated by it because when I looked on the back side of each piece, I just saw a big bunch of knots, zigzags, and threads going every which way. But when I turned it over, it looked beautiful. This amazingly intricate design. I used to marvel at their pieces and think, how did they do that? How did they take something so messy and make something so beautiful? That's a picture of what God's done with my life. He took all the knots, sharp turns, and frayed ends, my early marriage struggles, miscarriages, the career setbacks, and somehow made them all into something beautiful. And that kind of just sums up my life too. And it just hit me. Like, stop thinking intellectually. Stop thinking about all these things like you have to have proof for every little thing. That's not faith. That's trying to figure out every little thing to make you intellectually believe in God. And I'm so worn out. I'm so tired. And this book has made me realize that I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to be on the struggle bus anymore, on this treadmill in my brain, trying to figure out every little thing. Faith isn't like that. And what's most important is my relationship with God. Having a relationship with him. I can't even tell you how much, or the last time I had actually prayed and it wasn't a like recited prayer from a book or Hail Mary or, you know, things like that. Actually just having a relationship and talking to God. And so this book has changed my life, and I don't know if she will ever see this video. I plan on going to meet her in person in December. I'm hoping and praying that that works out. It's still a little bit up in the air at the moment, but I'm hoping that we can make the jot, so I can meet her face to face and tell her briefly this and how much her book changed my life. I love her for Ariel. I love her, her work. But what I'm gonna go there for is her and for Jodi. That's who I'm going for, to meet her, because her life and her telling her story and listening to God's voice changed my entire life and brought me so much relief that God used her to get to me, because he knew that I looked up to her so much and just saw the joy in her, and he brought me back to him. And I'm sad that it took so long, but I'm so thankful, so thankful for Jodi Benson and for this book. And yeah. And I can't be the only one. I'm sure that she is going to change so many lives from this book, even if it's just questioning, is there a higher power? Like, I'm sure people are going to read this book that don't have faith or aren't Christian or come from a different background. And I think that she is going, because of her yes to God in this book, she is going to get to heaven someday. And she is going to see a sea of people that she helped from her life and that God used. And these people are going to say thank you to her for getting them to heaven and to accepting God. Because I know for a fact that she changed my life, and I would probably still be in this sea of depression and intellectual spinning spiritually, and just in such a depressive state the last few years. I've had so much joy from my kids, but I've also had so much pain and so much sadness and so much confusion in my life. And I'm so grateful that I wasn't expecting it when I picked up this book, but I'm so grateful that I picked it up and that it changed my life. And so if Jodi ever watches this, or if I ever get to meet her in this life, face to face in person, I just want to tell her thank you. So pick up this book, read it, listen to it on Audible. Audible, she actually reads the book, and I actually think it's better to listen to her actually like tell the stories. It's really good. So Audible, or pick up this book, but read it because it's so good. And it's her story, it's her life, but she brings so much wisdom. She says she doesn't think she has wisdom to say, but she has wisdom. And it's so good. And I can't wait to read it again and actually like take notes, because it's just that good. So pick up this book. You won't regret it. And I'm back, and I'll see you in my next video.